Hi, welcome to the 4321 Woodworking Shop. My name is Chris, and I wanted to take a moment just to explain to you why I got into woodworking and where my name came from. Uh, let's start with the name. It's a pretty easy one. When I started this and I was thinking of a name, I wanted to start with something, I had a few things I tossed around, but I wanted something that kind of represented where I started. What it comes from is I have 4 kids. I have 3 dogs, or not 3 dogs, 3 turtles, 2 dogs, and a cat. That's where we started. Yes, pets will come and go, I'm sure, over the years. In fact, we have 3 new pets they're called axolotls. They don't do much, but kind of interesting little things. In any case, the 4 kids will always have 4 kids. The rest may change, but this is where I started, was at with 4321. So, a bit of a hectic lifestyle, hectic house, but it's fun. So, why the woodworking? There's kind of a twofold reasoning here. One of it was, I moved. My wife and I, she moved quite a few times. I moved a couple times after life events and things, and when we got married, and a couple rental houses until we purchased a house, and so forth. Through all of that, you had IKEA, we were both young, so IKEA type particle board book stands and things like that. And a lot of those just were falling apart. I was throwing screws in them to keep them together, doing this, and I kept thinking to myself, this stuff is junk. I can do better than this. And meanwhile, I'm looking at a dining table and chairs that, my parents bought in the 1980s, and I still had it up until a few years ago. So, it's 30 years old, perfectly fine. And what really got me was a dresser that one of my daughters now use was my son's, so it's been through a couple of our kids. Was built by one of my wife's grandpa or great grandpa. I forget exactly, but it's gone through a couple generations now. So, and it's not the biggest dresser in the world, but it's the heaviest one we own. I can tell you that. So I kind of decided I wanted to build furniture like that. Make things that my kids will take, my grandkids may be fighting over. I don't know. The other thing is a bed that my youngest got, twin bed, had a headboard and a footboard. They were again made by a relative. They've come down through the generations a little bit. And she was a toddler, and I needed a gate for it, or bed rails. What I ended up building was a little too tall. It didn't last. I would build it differently today, but it lasted long enough for what we needed it to do. And I was trying to make something that was worthy of that bed, of that craftsmanship, not just a plastic one. So unfortunately now there's just a plastic one on there, but we're about to get rid of that too because she's old enough. But that was why I got into woodworking, was I want to build items that go on through the generations. And I want to build items that are, as I learn and grow myself, that are nice, that people look at and go, wow, that's beautiful. And I can say, I did it in this shop. It's not a big shop. There's not a ton of 220-volt, super expensive tools. Some maybe one day, as I progress. Obviously, that's the goal of anybody. I mean, you're not going to sit here and say, yes, I'd like to use that old stuff all the time. Some of it, yes. Some of it works great and you want to keep it. But, that's just where I'm headed, is eventually maybe a little bigger shop, maybe more space, so forth. But for now, I'm building it in here. I'm getting it done, and I'm not doing it with any amount of super expense as I grow and do this. So that's all for the introduction. I just wanted to give you a bit about myself and where I'm at, and what I'm here about. So thanks. Have a good night.